Hey everybody, this is Rydo, and we're today looking at the Blob. This is a 2017 game according to Steam, which is where I get all the dates from for these games. I just recently played Epic Mickey 2, which had a paint filler, paint thinner concept, and so this would be basically the jump from like 2012 to 2017 is basically a generations of improvement in how you would implement the idea of a liquid paint mechanic in video games. Of course, this is THQ making it, so that is a different company and a different time. I imagine Splatoon 1 would have at least been out by 2017, so this is a game that almost certainly has more influence from Splatoon than earlier games like Epic Mickey and the idea of paint. It seems like it's a fairly, even like middle school type themed of game. No dialogue, so you don't have to translate anything, and kids that don't have to read subtitles. I can tell you that the resolution on this video at the beginning looks fairly rough, pretty low and then scaled up, and for a 2017 game it is missing quite a lot of configuration as far as options go. Like, what can you look at the options? You have music and sound effects, no subtitles, which tells you there's no dialogue at all in the game, even though there is a story. As far as controls, on Steam you have to launch a separate controller app to actually configure controls, which I didn't bother to do, so whatever the default Xbox controller layout is, I will do that. And then you can disable help. There are several extras that we'll check out at the end of the series, and then there's this Blob party, which looks like it's local 4-way co-op only, which for 2017 is also fairly strange that there's no online gameplay. Now, in fairness, if you're going to compare this to early Splatoon games, I imagine the first Splatoon really did emphasize more on local co-op, and that's more of a case of Nintendo wanting to not really bother with learning how to program networking. That being said, THQ Nordic, nope, this is THQ. This is the original Tokyo headquarters company before it went bankrupt and then effectively played a shell game of converting all of its massive debt into the old THQ and then transferring a significant amount of the licenses of games. We don't need to watch that a second time. To what was originally Nordic Games, then eventually changed its name to THQ Nordic, and eventually then changed their name to Embracer Group as a parent company, which the Embracer Group company has done a lot to acquire a bunch of companies, but did a really poor job of actually making games in general, just even the number of games, let alone the quality. They made Darksiders 3, which wasn't really great when I played that, and they've made a couple of SpongeBob games, and that's about it as far as what's worth mentioning. And most recently, Embracer Group has acquired companies to now start to shut down companies and lay off people because they fell through with a major contract, which is exactly how the original THQ fell apart too, is that they severely overinvested in Skylanders, a Toys to Life concept, to the point where they fell apart. There was also a painting for the Wii, a physical accessory, like a Mario Paint equivalent, which, yeah, there's a reason why Nintendo never made another Mario Paint, or tried to sell the Super NES mouse accessory. There's also this free play mode, getting back to talking about the Blob, which seems to be completely locked out until we play the story, so we have to play the story. So, yeah. Seems like you start in one location, and then we're going to run around and spiral around towards the center, I imagine. Make one full loop, and then get to the center. And it seems like there might be 3 incidences of each location. Interesting. We have what seems like it would just be music choices here, but it seems like the only things you can do here is blissful or funky, so let's just start with blissful. Now, I immediately have to question what these creatures are and what the capabilities of these creatures are, in that it seems like at least one person can add color through their body, but not everybody seems like they can. So, because that character was painting with a paintbrush. And then the bad guys are using robots to suck the color up. Now there's another game called The Maw, where I think you run around and eat things. And I always confuse those two games because the Blob, The Maw, similar enough kind of descriptive terms. This was a once blissful hotel was seen, but I.N.K.T took all the color. I.N.K.T. I.N.K.T is, I guess, the bad guy group. Okay. So it's gibberish talk. You do have to read here, though, so I couldn't really say this is like a really E10 plus or E for everyone below the age of 10 type game. Although maybe kids could, a lot of kids I imagine could just hit A and figure it out. Welcome to the revolution, Blob. I am the professor, the leader of the Color Underground. The evil I.N.K.T Corporation has taken all the color from Chroma City. With your help, we can restore the world using color energy. But you must hurry, the timer shows you how long before I.N.K.T tracks you down. Finish your mission and get to the exit pool before time expires. Let's make a start. Blob. Smash a paint bot to get color. So you could see that there is a desire here to have a little bit less violence, but very quickly most games have to have some kind of violent gameplay mechanic, and so in this case it is smashing paint bots. Hold down left trigger or right trigger. I can't really read it from the 8 feet away I'm looking on the TV, which in this case this almost certainly was a Switch game, so the text is a little small, although maybe everything's being stretched out for higher resolutions. Press A to slam it. Each paint bot you slam gives you 10 paint points. Do I understand? Got it. Alright. You've got color, start liberating the gray world. So what I could see here, let's see what this is. Water washes you clean and reduces your size. So there is a size element to this too. There's no spraying aspect here. Got style pickup styles make buildings look funky. Interesting. So it's really just wherever you land. And certainly if you get to a point, I use the color energy to launch a transform signal and transform engine. Hold the left trigger and slam it to restore the world. So this is obviously a simpler game than you might make something like this. Like I definitely could see, interesting, you're knocking down some things when you run into them also. So while you may be painting, you are also opting to cause some chaos. I definitely had some concern, though, that what would have happened is you would have ended up spending way too much time trying to paint everything. Whereas it seems to me like this has done you the solid of letting you really only focus on the super big things, which that probably simplifies a lot. We launch our blimp when we have enough energy, color energy. There's no color mixing that seems to be happening here, I would say. And it doesn't feel like if I just target these guys that I'll just get bigger and bigger. Like, I am just red, and red is good enough from the looks of it. Mind the gap, Blob, you need to jump across. Jump, you press A to jump. Steer with L while in the mid-air, press left trigger at any time to brake. Okay, pretty simplistic stuff. Let's see what this does. Well, interesting. That put a lot more varied color in the world, and it freed more colorful small creatures, which maybe we'll do something with those later. So I wouldn't be surprised if this is a more timer-based game. And yeah, there might be some small influences from games like Jet Set Radio, where you would be on skates moving a lot faster, and then you would be tagging, spray painting certain areas. Although, I don't know if the comparison there is quite one-to-one. There's a more recent game or two that have been inspired by Jet Set Radio, that have been released or announced recently. Hey Blob, I'm Zip. I'll show you how we roll in the Revolution. We prepared some challenges for you to help put the last resort hotel, or the last holiday resort, back to the way it was. Roll up to a color underground symbol like the one behind me and press X. Got it. Target. Together we can color up the world. So no real story reason other than just wanting to restore the world. Like, you're not on a path of revenge or anything, it seems. Aloha Blob, I'm the color expert in the group. It's nice to meet you. This was once a holiday resort before the Ink occupation. Since then it's been so cold that nobody goes outside anymore. Paint the building reds to free the gradients trapped inside. Hold left trigger and press A to slam a paint bot to get that color. Okay. So I have 120 seconds to do this. Am I supposed to hit more of the buildings? Like I could certainly try to paint buildings red. But I'm not sure I'm hitting the right ones. I think I may very well have just wanted to hit that one building. That's a time pickup, grab it to keep the clock ticking. So we have like 6 minutes and 40 seconds, I now see. There's just a lot of stuff to do, I guess, in that time. Doesn't seem to me like we're going to avenue complete one color. I wonder if that means that multiple colors would get you more. One way ahead is blocked. Whoops. The puff can crack it open if you own enough color energy. Now those pop-up dialogues did not complete challenges in painting to raise the color energy. Yep, those dialogues don't have the... Let's see what this is. They don't have prompts, which I find that weird. Well, it does seem to me like this could be an incredibly simplistic game. And I definitely don't feel like there's enough of variety to like want to actually run around an area and try and paint the entirety of the world with small brush strokes. And then complete one color. More of the colors adds more color energy. Interesting. Out of paint points. What's the deal with these guys? Yeah. So we want to touch those guys. See what this challenge is. Really building up the color energy blob. It's getting warmer. Even the sky is back to blue. There's more gradients inside this holiday home. Make yourself orange and paint the glowing building. You'll need to mix colors by summoning different paint bots. Okay. So, mix red, yellow, and blue to make new colors. So it's the primary colors and then the secondary colors. I imagine it doesn't get any more complicated than that. The cursor shows you what color you will be after slamming a paint bot. Interesting. And so we need to do this. And go ahead and paint this. It is a little interesting that the rewards for challenges just kind of pop up everywhere. Very noticeably though, you're going to end up either spending a ton of time trying to reach areas or trying to paint things, and a lot of time working your way back to areas. This really lacks the free flow experience though you would kind of expect from a interesting that unlocked another gate, I guess, just further down the line. Something like Splatoon or any of those paint games, like you would kind of just expect that you could constantly spray paint. Although that was a problem with Epic Mickey 2, also, in that you were very often running out of filler. I kind of wonder if the whole time here isn't for the entirety of a run, and that this is a fairly simplistic game otherwise. Yeah. Unless they make a whole nother land. Yeah, it seems to me like you could only spend so much time in this level, and so it might be somewhat beneficial to try and paint everything, but it might also just straight up be a waste of time to try and find every little item, every tree, every trash can. There is kind of a lack of focus, I think, for platforming elements here, if that's what you're going for. Let's see if that changes things in a good way, or if that changes things in a bad way. So you have like this whole score in the top right that they're not, I think, really explaining particularly well. Now I guess you want to get secondary colors as much as possible. Yeah. See, I don't know if I'm still in like the first tutorial area of that overworld map. You got through the gate. This was the hotel district. The propaganda tower broadcast inked lies. That they've really given up on having you press A to continue, so the text is moving too fast. Complete the challenges to open the sector gate, which we've already done. Hold down Y to see your compass, which that's interesting that you can dedicate the entire Y button towards a radar compass. During the challenge, the compass shows the nearest objective. Compass always helps you find paint bots and water. So, yeah. It's kind of a nice system. These tall buildings were once luxury hotels. Let's test your color mixing skills. Paint the marked buildings yellow, blue, and green. Right. So touch that building as green. then we'll get blue. Paint that blue. And then one extra yellow. Whoops. We got the challenge done, and then we undid the challenge. I'm seeing more. You're the hero Chroma City needed, Blob. Always look around for places you can color. The camera controls on the right stick will help you. Did we really need the tutorial for the camera control at this point? You would think that would have been a little bit earlier, if it's necessary at all. Sometimes the rooftops are the safest way to travel. Jump onto the sloped building behind me. You can then reach the line of hotels and paint them yellow. Perhaps too simplistic as far as singular sound effects. Go all the way up here. You're just born to jump, Blob. Please paint the roof green and bring color back to the neighborhood. Alright. So yeah, I feel like they've pretty much already figured out what they're going to go for here, which is to give you fairly simplistic quests. Like, they're really not trying to complicate it much. It's going to be paint things some color, and the platforming aspect seems like it's going to be pretty simplistic otherwise. And we're just unlocking gates like crazy, and it may be a case that the world is kind of splitting itself up. Since you only have a certain amount of color energy, though, it might be wise to, instead of just running alongside buildings, to skip every other building and leave those buildings white or gray, so you can focus on them later. Definitely just question how many can we paint that? Yep. Feels like this could get fairly repetitive fairly quickly. And with the whole platforming aspect, definitely feels like the ground floor buildings may all get painted one way, and then there may be more effort that needs to be put into getting to the taller buildings. Fairly easy to just miss entire sections. There's no zoom out here by the looks of it. so like I just don't see the path to get to the top of those buildings. And unless you were washed clean, you get to the top of those buildings, and then you basically have to mindlessly jump. I would say it would probably be better if you got a bigger jump, and maybe there is something to that. Maybe if I just ran around here and collected more and more things, that would get me to be larger as a blob, taking kind of the idea of what I think the Maw as a game is. In a funny way, this is probably closer to what a Mickey game should be. Something much more peaceful, less creepy compared to Epic Mickey 2. No animatronics, no... Practically impossible to maintain one color as you get bigger there. It's just, they're just too big. And so what am I supposed to do to destroy the propaganda station tower? This propaganda tower is the ink landmark blob. Ink converted all of the Radian civic buildings and now use them to spread their messages of monotony. That's a big word for a kid's game. However, you have the power to transform landmarks and restore them to their former glory. Landmarks are resistant to color, but I've invented a device that allows you to slam its weak points to get inside. You need to be red and have 30 paint points. I can only override the landmark's defenses for a limited time, so act quickly. Okay. And so he's just turned me to red. Landmarks require 30 or more paint points in a specific color. Hold it and slam the weak point to break in. Repeatedly press A to transform the landmark. Okay. So breaking in only involves going on the inside of it. And then you just get chunked out. We will go up here, just to investigate if we can get any higher. I suppose you can jump over here. I can get you to that point. Then can get you to this point. Lets you color in that. Seems like probably isn't much more you can do. The best case scenario would be to try and hit these connecting sections. Let's throw some purples into different buildings. Although it doesn't really feel like it's telling you what you're resetting and what you're changing when you do that. And at a certain level, some of these sections may be so small that you couldn't do all 6 of the colors. What I really don't like is that there just doesn't seem like there's a way to focus down and look at the entirety of the world. Like, you have to come way back here, and you still can't move the camera up and down, even when you do that. And that gives us another 180 seconds. Trouble ahead, Bob. You'd better collect some life pickups. These streets are polluted with ink. If you get inked with water, hit the water fast. Okay. Beyond the ink is our luxury seaside apartments. The sector gate leads to our target, the paintbot transmitter. So, it seems to me like we probably are halfway through a level here. So, I'm willing to risk it. My first instinct would be to end the episode here, because this feels like a decent spot to do that, but I don't know what color I really am now. It feels to me like I'm probably just brown. A mixture of like all the colors. These apartments look drab and gray. Paint all the buildings in the street purple. Be careful of the water will wash away your color. I've rated the difficulty of all the painting challenges for you. This is a 2-star challenge. The harder the challenge, the more color energy you rack up. Okay. Purple, blue. All of these. Purple. Probably just means doing this. Now, I don't admit, I'm not upset by pointing out here though that this is not particularly the tightest controlling game I've ever seen. I'm wasting time here, and the quest didn't want those buildings painted. Red and blue. We got like 15 seconds. So, alright. Considerably easier though to do this the second time around. All you have to do is have the whole area painted purple to start with, and it doesn't reset it, so it doesn't actually seem like I have to smash the color bots. Maybe I'm just big enough now that doesn't matter. I really don't like, though, the idea of running against walls. That very much has like a Doom feel to it, where in Doom you're often strafing against walls looking for secrets. Yeah, I never really found that particularly enjoyable, looking for secrets and just pressing the A button like non-stop or whatever, spacebar or whatever it was in Doom, looking for secret walls that would open secret doors. Guess we're getting updates on how much things are painted. These apartments used to be the color of coffee. Please paint all the buildings in the street brown. You'll need to mix red, blue, and yellow to get brown. This is a 1-star challenge. You'll earn a bonus color energy if you complete the challenge in your first attempt. Okay. So, red, then blue, brown. Oops. I do see where the locking in system here would be helpful. If it's big enough though, you do seem like you can color in the second levels of a lot of buildings. Of course, because you're constantly getting, let's vary all this up. Because you're constantly getting more time, though, that really doesn't give you a good indication of how much a level really, how long a level really would be. Like I could spend a lot of extra time if it is just constantly extending that timer. Let's see what this challenge is. This tree has been flooded with ink, is deadly. The holiday markers are trapped inside the apartments. Paint all the buildings in the street green. That could be dangerous. It's a 3-star challenge. The controls here aren't amazing. Like, it's a little too tight controls. It's a little uncertain as far as just how high you can actually jump. Okay, I got inked there, and inked doesn't stop. Whoops, we died. Being inked doesn't seem to stop you. Where are we? Back at the beginning of this whole section. Well, I'm a little confused as to what kills me and what doesn't kill me. Like, seems like just getting inked a little bit killed me in that case, but weirdly the game seems to not have cared about me getting inked that much in some other cases. And I guess if you're dying and running around, you can potentially whoops. Some variety here. Yeah, still the camera controls feel really rough in that you're stuck on this 2D plane. I just don't really see a good argument to run around this whole area looking for one small thing to paint. I think you probably are better playing this game just assuming you've done enough when you've unlocked the goal. Now the question is, that's the paint bot transmitter, transform it, and we'll set up color HQ here. Yeah, seems like when you have enough color energy, hold that and slam the exit pool to leave the area. Okay. Seems like you have a limited amount of life power-ups. And a limited amount of time to recover. And clearly, when the game does it, paints things in, it looks way better. This is our prime target, Blob. This paint landmark controls all the paint bots in Chroma City. Paint the target on the paint bot transmitter. You'll need to be yellow and have with 50 paint points, which I assume I already have. I need to be yellow. Yellow, yellow, yellow. There's a yellow over here. And apparently I have 50 points at the top left there. I'm not yellow, I'm orange. Interesting, you leave a little bit of interesting. You leave a little bit of paint. Let's see. In the water when you touch things. We're actually running out of time. Barely made that. I had just about a minute, so I played this fairly laid back as a level, but it definitely feels like the game could get more difficult than it maybe should. In that, in the case that you're just potentially going to get halfway through the game and run into some difficulty finishing things in time. See, if this was the relaxed music, does the funky music make it more difficult? We get a couple of achievements, at least one achievement here. So 97% of the world is painted. One would hope that maybe you could come back to this world and do it again with it still being painted. Apparently they'd like you to do the whole game, the whole level in under 8 minutes. It took me 30 minutes and 53 seconds, which is strange because my recording says it's been about 50 minutes, so wasted 20 minutes there, potentially dying and resetting. We missed 2 styles, we missed 7 or 6 trees, we missed 1 blimp, and we missed about 40 radians. So we know what to look for now. Now, arguably, it might have been nice if the game had told me in the first place to say, look out for billboards and blimps and try and rescue all the radians. And try to play it under 8 minutes, although the game probably shouldn't tell you to try and play it under 8 minutes. So, story level Uptown has now been unlocked. Free Paint Last Resort has been unlocked. And Cutscene Last Resort has been unlocked. Let's see. Blob Party Streets Blob Race has been unlocked, which we'll never engage with that. Secret Mission Seaside Roller and Secret Mission Top of the World have been unlocked. So, okay. I guess we generally have an idea now of how many levels there's probably going to be. I'd say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in total. So, not a super long game from the feels of it, although it could get longer. I do want to know if we go to Free Paint Last Resort. We haven't unlocked any new music. Welcome to Free Paint, press A to start. Feels like this might be a multiplayer game, 4-player split screen. You can stay and paint as long as you like, have fun. It's funny, it feels like I had to highlight each of those characters to get those prompts. Yeah. So, weirdly, I'd say this probably is not a very valuable free paint mode, in that all it potentially lets you do is re-look at the levels. And yeah, we can see here's a blimp. So how was I supposed to get the blimp painted? Yeah. Seems like maybe I touched some goo there. When you fill in this, and that just paints everything for you. Or paints some of it for you. So I guess if you just want a relaxing way to check to find where's the stuff that you missed, free paint mode works. It might very well be an argument to going back to these early areas, though. I just don't see how I could make a jump There. Feels like you'd have to grab this. And then grab this. And then just run back here. And then grab this. And I guess if you just wanted to speed run the whole thing, how quickly could you through this figure out how quick it is to speedrun? Although if you're gonna speedrun and test it, you might as well go ahead and just try and rush as fast as possible. Like, is it even really worth your time to do that? If you're speedrunning, why not just run? Although noticeably, you're not really running very fast. And in free play mode, there's very possibly not a requirement here to do anything, so these may all be open to start with. So yeah, this shows me there's some stuff I missed. Let's see, and how long does it take for a yellow to respawn? Don't really love the idea of smashing the A button a lot. This really is one of those Wii game originals that really were just designed for a whole new generation of kids to play video games on a Wii with a whole new generation of input device with the Wiimotes and the waggling around. Which, well, that did bring in a lot of new eyes to the idea of playing video games. It also very much was dishonest as to what the nature of video game interaction really is likely to be. And I would imagine a significant number of people who got Wiis and played like Wii Sports didn't buy any other games and didn't move on to playing any other kind of controller inputs such as the Xbox 360 or the PlayStation 3. Yeah, it's very noticeable that this is labeled as free play and not labeled as a speed run, because you really just cannot get to the feeling of a speed run in this. Like, if I could jump a lot faster, where'd the blimp go? Interesting. So somewhere around here, there's a blimp. Looking at these walls on the backside, they feel like they've been painted over completely. free play mode might help you slightly, and that it might let you figure out where things are. Yeah, unless there's... I'm still very lost as far as just... See, and I guess free play mode gives you all these prompts, which that would be slightly helpful. Yeah, I'm like totally still lost as far as where you find the blimp. So if I went back into that level, trying to do everything perfectly, I would still probably struggle. So it's almost certainly a wiser move to wait and re-enter the levels after we've gotten fairly good at the main story. There might also be a small chance the blimp is up there. Interesting. The blimp may just fly around. I see the blimp. Can I target the blimp? Oh, this feels like this could get very repetitive if the levels get bigger or just generally more difficult. I lost the blimp. There it is. It's turning around. It really doesn't feel like it gets close enough to anything. It feels like you would have to be able to spray paint to actually hit it. And so I'm no clue really as far as how you would exit or paint it before it starts flying around, or if you are just supposed to paint it after it flies around. So we could quit from the menu, but I want to check something. I have like 55 red paint value right now. Feels like it might max out at 100. Yeah. So it maxes out at 100. You don't seem to get an extra reward for painting things brown or secondary colors, which maybe there would be a reason, better reason to go that route. I'd assume if we go back in there, it's all unpainted again. So this may be the way you reset a level. So I wonder if your paint level also acts kind of as your health. Right. can we get from like this spot to that spot? Nope. Really doesn't feel like you can. Right click zooms in, which I guess, well, it did for a second there. It's weird this game doesn't have like a spin attack on it though. It really feels like instead of locking in with the left trigger and attacking, you would hit the X button and he would just spin in a circle to destroy the robots, and then that would open the door to newer, bigger, stronger robots. Yeah. It was just way too far away. It's not really reasonable that you would just like want to run back and forth. Now I'd say the Blob feels like he gets even heavier the bigger he gets, not longer. Now if at some point we unlock a double jump, maybe then reaching the blimp would be a lot easier. You still hit the water and still lose all of your color, even if your paint value stays the same. Alright. Otherwise, this unlocks Blob Party, which can't do anything without any other players there. And interesting, I would say on PC and Steam, you really don't have a lot of opportunities in which you can plug in even 2 controllers, let alone 3 or 4. This unlocked the opening cutscene and the last resort cutscene, which I assume we've already seen. That also tells us this way we can cheat and see the names of all of the levels. I assume awards here are total. We've gotten 5 out of 100, so it is potentially going to be more of an experience. You can also figure out some things on the next city, but it looks to me like it's the same things: billboards, blimps, transforming, radians. So it very possibly is that there are 10 achievements for 10 levels that are the same across each level. Okay, so that's a good start for the Blob, spelled D-E, Blob instead of T-H-E. It's a different way certainly to implement a paint system. It definitely doesn't feel as free-flowing as something like Splatoon, or even something as fast as probably a 2017 game should be. I do feel like we very well may run into some conflict there between the time requirements and the way you probably want to play the game in story mode otherwise. Like, there clearly is like one run through you want to do where you paint everything and take your time, and that may very well be the second run through, and your first run through should probably just try to be a speed run if you can actually pull it off. Although maybe the speed run is too difficult without ability upgrades. We may not actually see any ability upgrades, and I may just have to get good, for lack of a better term. But yeah, that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want to support me further, there's a link down below in the description box. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.